How's everyone doing? All good? Cool, cool. Oh, big exam or small exam? Like stressed about it? Hello again? Okay. Well, still, I feel like all exams are stressful, or at least a little bit. Okay, cool. You got this then. We're all computer nerds here. Or, well, maybe not all, but can slightly assume. So I guess I can go ahead and, yeah, get started. I don't have like an awesome agenda for today or anything like that. It's just been kind of a normal work week, so thought I would just kind of show what I've been up to, and if anyone has any questions or ideas for what we want to do, feel free to shout out. Um, but yeah, what have I been up to? So this week's been mostly just like V2 account related stuff. So you probably all saw that, the past few weeks been talking about like automatically updating Google Play logins to be, V2 and all that stuff. So I've just been dealing with lots of like fallout from that and odds and ends and, like bugs and bug reports and people asking questions and stuff like that. So I kind of figured it'll be a little bit bumpy for a little while everyone kind of gets slowly pushed over to all the V2 account stuff. But we'll get through it. But it's been, yeah, it feels a little bit like whack-a-mole, like that game where like stuff pops up and you whack it. It feels a little bit like that right now with like bugs and things. Um, like normally, here's my master server logs. So this is kind of the central server where scores and like everything lives. So this is like how I can kind of just keep track of like the logs on there. And my ideal is to have, there's like bajillions of requests coming in constantly. And so my ideal is to have like everything running smoothly and no like warnings or errors happening. And you can see right now there's about 600 warnings from the last hour. So, oops. If I just go look at warnings here, oh geez, apparently a little spike of them right now. But yeah, a bunch of just like weird little technical things with V2 account stuff. So none of you need to worry about any of this stuff. But yeah, delete BASN channel, get account session channel, blah blah blah. Like all sorts of little things they're basically working, but they're not working like 100% perfectly. So I need to like polish things up a little bit. It'll probably be another few like minor updates, and then hopefully my timeline will be back to nice and clean here. Oh, I am kind of curious what happened over here. Why am I getting a spike? Oh yeah, session channel 64. Oh geez. So when you launch the game, if you remember, the game will connect to one of my local servers, and it'll like maintain that live connection. That's all what like V2 accounts are about. It's like having a live connection so that we can do things like global chat or like inviting friends or anything where like the server needs to contact the game immediately. And so the game always tries to like keep one of those connections open. After a while, it'll spin up like a second one and then like retire the first one. But in some cases, apparently there's a bug I need to track down where it keeps trying to make more and more connections or something. So that's what these logs are, like account session channel count 64. So somewhere out there's a random copy of the game that has 64 connections going right now, or at least has tried to make 64 connections. So that's what my warning spike here is about. So it's just little things like that. I just need to add better logs and things like that and see why that's happening, and then get that fixed. But so that's largely been my week is stuff like that. Yeah, so that was requests and stuff from V2 accounts. So to get super nerdy about how this whole thing is set up. Oh no, are these more Rick rolls? Oh, different. Okay, legit questions. I'm scared now whenever I see anything that looks like a game video or something. So not to get. We have a different camera for servers, which focuses around the player. Yes, I've this came up before. I would like to do that. I think, and my intention was always to do that on like phone-sized devices. When I first wrote the game, it was basically for like playing on TVs and stuff, like local multiplayer. So it was okay. I mean, obviously on a TV you want to show all the players because that's how everyone sees themselves. But yeah, I think it would be good for something like phone sized to maybe by default like stay closer to your character, and then if we have like maybe other characters could be like the little arrows or something, just so you can still know where everyone is. Um, but yeah, I totally agree. That would be good. And I did intend to do that when I started the mobile port way back in the day. It just kind of like fell off my radar. So yes, we should get in there. So get that in there. So remind me, keep reminding me about that. I'm right in the middle of this account stuff, so I can't really do gameplay changes much right now. But like, let's try to get that done. Or if someone wants to try to do that in the code, I could show you kind of where to start, or we could talk about it or something. But yes, I totally agree with this note. Anyway, rewinding. Oh yeah, if any of you saw a little Easter egg, if you go to ballistica.net/submarines, I went ahead and made this screen for everyone. So if you're curious about who exactly, I mean, this helps us find submarines. That's the first reason for it. But so here we got a few submarine players out there. These big like soft circles, that basically means like we don't know the exact location, but this is the country. So like in this case, it's Russia. Like someone is playing in Russia, but we don't know the exact location, or someone's playing in China. I'm not sure what country this is. It's some sort of submarine country. But anyway, yeah, if you want to go to, this should be fully public, ballistica.net/submarines. You can see where the submarines are right now, and also see who's playing the game at the moment. So, or at least see which cities have at least one person playing the game. Oh no, I'm sorry. I hope I'm not talking too fast. I know I talk fast sometimes when I'm talking about technical things. Maldives. I never know how to say that. Maldives. Yeah, Maldives. Treasure Island with Eric and coffee. Oh, I feel bad. I'm just using my plain old default coffee cup today. I had a few other ones I was going to use, but I forgot. For what is this? Oh, this function. EHV. If I I don't actually remember right offhand, but generally, if something has like a name that is hard to understand or something like that, it probably means either it's related to like copy protection, or just something that I really don't want people like experimenting with. I mean, so of course I can't stop you, but yeah, it's probably something related to, who knows, rootkit detection or copy protection or something like that. Maybe I shouldn't be saying that, but people have hacked everything anyway. So if you want to poke around with it, feel free. EHV. That sounds familiar. Like, yeah, I honestly don't remember what it is right now. I would have to go look through the source code, and I don't want to do that with everyone watching because then you would know exactly what it does. Yeah, but yeah. Oh, so anyway, yeah. What I was saying though is like you can actually use this submarines map just to like see servers and stuff. So when you're playing the game, yeah, these lines represent the live connection that you have. So when the game launches, it looks for the nearest purple dot and sets up a live connection to it, and that's what the little soft line here represents. And then these purple servers, they have basically, well, kind of a live connection, a two-way connection to the master server, which is, I think, here in California. That's running on Google App Engine, and that's what I just showed you. That's the big log thing. So this is running under Google Cloud. It's called App Engine, and it basically just spins up instances based on like how much demand you have. So it's kind of cool that you don't have to worry about scaling and whatnot. It automatically adds more horsepower when it's needed. But yeah, this is kind of like the central place where like all communication comes in from like all these purple guys They're all talking to that one central server. And on the V1 stuff, like the old game, like the classic, honestly, most stuff in the game is still running through the V1 system. Like all that stuff, it just talks directly to the master server. So, of course, this is the V2 master server. The V1 master server it's the same thing basically, but it's like an older version. So here's the V1 master server. It's actually looking pretty good. Only have a few warnings, a few errors. The errors are probably not ideal. Let's see if there's anything here. Error getting eFro address. Temporary failure in, okay. Name resolution. Okay, so this looks like a random internet-y failure. It's interesting with like running these big systems like this where it's like thousands of requests coming in constantly. It's like there's always going to be some errors and some things that are not working. So it's like I know like as a programmer, I want everything to be working perfectly, but that's just not going to happen. It's kind of like managing, it's just like disaster management. You can keep most errors from happening and you can make it gracefully handle the errors, but it's impossible to like get rid of the errors completely. So anyway, that's how all this stuff works. So it's these little green dots are the game. They talk to the purple dots, and then the purple dots talk to a big dot here, which is not actually on the map, which is the master server. And so yeah, right now there's some game out there that has 50 connections. So there's probably like, I don't think it shows up on this map here as 50 lines, but something is malfunctioning slightly. Rate my UI. Cool, looks good. I would, I think last replay, that's I know in the default UI, I think that's like a stand-in, isn't it? Like if instead of last replay, it will show like your last replay or like a translation string for it. But yeah, in general, it looks good. I'd have to like see how it feels in terms of like, using the arrow keys to navigate to make sure that all feels good. I feel like for me that seems to be like almost the most time-consuming part is to get like arrow navigation working right. I know I've showed that a few times, how to set that up, with like right widget, up widget, and making sure all that stuff is foolproof. There's always weird corner cases, like when your list doesn't have any things in it, then it like behaves a little bit differently sometimes. So it's like, ugh. But yeah, in general, yeah, that's looking good. So yeah. So yeah, EHV again. It's some internal thing. I don't remember. I'm assuming if you do help for it, it probably just says internal, right? I assume it wouldn't tell you what it is. Oh, it returns something. Okay. Now I am really curious what it is. I totally do want to check, but again, I don't want to like go poking into sensitive parts of the code with screen capture running. Oh, thank you. Yes, that's the... I still need to... Well, I guess technically I could show... Like I have the bomb squads running on there. It's just kind of like normal bomb squad. It's nothing like customized for the arcade, basically. But yeah, it's running on the IA arcade back there. So is anybody... Oh yeah, another thing I should mention. I just got this done last night, but as you've probably seen, like, when you sign in with a device account, so there's bomb squad accounts, and then of course old device accounts, it gives you this pop-up, which will offer to basically upgrade your account to a V2 account. And this hasn't been working. Like if you poked upgrade, it would just say like under construction, but as of last night, I got it working. So if any of you have, old device accounts and you want to keep those around or upgrade them to V2, you can now do that. Basically, it's almost the same as registering a V2 account. So it'll just say like, can be upgraded, you poke upgrade, and then, you enter a email and password. So I don't have an extra email, otherwise I would do it right now. And that basically, it does a few things. It transfers, it sets up, a V2 account, so then you can sign in. You give it an email and a password. It'll create a V2 account for you that has all of your existing progress from your local account, and it also keeps your name. And then you'll just sign in, using an email and a password, through the web, normal V2 account sign in stuff. So yeah, so my hope is that we can slowly get device account people moved over to proper Bomb Squad / V2 accounts, and then eventually, yeah, I'm still actually slightly on the fence in terms of like, should we make device accounts either unavailable or just leave them here but have them be deprecated. Oh, the other thing it does, it preserves your name. So, like if you have a weird long name, like if you have an Android device, you'll get a name like, Android 593599975. It's like a really long name. It's longer than like the 10 characters that are normally allowed. But I went ahead and I set it up so it'll just let you keep your long name. I don't know if anyone is like very attached to one of their like long Android names, but you can do that if you want. It gives you a warning though, if you change your name later, if you change your tag, it will warn you that like you can't change it back because those are reserved. It won't let you like name your V2 account something like this, like account 2377. These are all like auto assigned ones. But anyway, so that's that. So if anyone tries that, please let me know if you have any problems with that. Now the one important thing still remaining for V2 accounts is linking. So I'll show you that. So I'm just going to sign back in as me. Okay. I'll sign back in as me, manage account, which will kick me over to a browser. And this will be all like here. So you go to manage. You can see like here's your account. It shows you like right now this account I have one login, which is just my email password login. But then you'll be able to go to manage logins, and then you can like basically be able to like switch logins between accounts. So if you have like a Google Play login and an email password login, you can point those at the same account. That way you can use your same account on your Android device as your PC, stuff like that. It's basically the same as we had before for V1 accounts, except this will be all done through the website. And then I need to figure out what to do because there's still the V1 linking is still here in the game for like old account types, but it's like a totally different thing than V2 linking. So it'll be interesting to try to like figure out how to deal with that. I could maybe prompt people to like, hey, unlink your old stuff like via the V1 linking and then link it with V2, or I don't know. I'm still kind of going over that in my head, how to like move that all forward. But the goal is to get everyone onto V2 accounts and linked with V2 linking, and V1 stuff should slowly kind of fade into the background. So yeah, let me know if any of you are having problems with that, like upgrading the accounts or signing in with the V2 on Google Play or anything like that. And I'll try to get this linking stuff working. Hopefully within the next day or two. I know the V2 like upgrade stuff took me longer than it should have. I just got that done last night. I didn't think it would take that long, but there's been a lot of other V2 network issues I've been dealing with and stuff like that. So it's been a bit of a slow week. But hopefully, this stuff will hopefully be done in the next few days. So again, more V2 stuff. So anyway, I'll stop rambling about V2 accounts. Hopefully I'll just be basically done with V2 account related things here soon, and then you don't have to hear all these boring updates anymore. All right, what have I missed? What arcade running Bomb Squad? It's really cool. Like the II Arcade thing. It's a startup. They're based in Chicago and Southern California here, and so they have. It's kind of like the app model for arcades. You can like install various old games, emulation games and stuff through their little app store, and they have like 10 things built in, and so Bomb Squad is one of those 10. So it's pretty cool. Except they set like I do one change I want to make. They set like button defaults, which is like they're used to them and they work well, but it's slightly different than like the button layout on the mobile version and the normal version. So it's like when I try to play it, I'm like, this is wrong. So I need to set like customization options there to like revert the button layout to what I'm used to. Yeah, a lot of people use Raspberry Pis and make. A good buddy of mine has like 2 of these arcade machines. They're all like Raspberry Pi based. And it has a bunch of stuff on them. My device login in Android says it's deprecated. When will my data be? Oh, maybe. I hope maybe I need to revise this. Like data will never be removed. I mean V1 data eventually, but like that's like years and years down the road. Like once everything has been moved over to V2 accounts. The only thing that will be removed. Yeah, this makes me wonder if I should rephrase this. Like the only thing that will be removed is being able to sign in this way. Like you need to just upgrade your account and then you can sign in this way. Let's see. So maybe I should rephrase this. Like signing in with the device button will be removed, or I'll have to think about that. Because yeah, I don't want people to think that like their accounts are going to be wiped because they won't be. So yeah. So again, yeah, if anyone has any questions or misconceptions, or not that you'd know if you have misconceptions, but if there's any questions about V2 account stuff, like I don't want anyone to think their accounts are going to go away or get lost or anything. Yeah, no, I definitely don't want to delete people's progress. So that's the whole thing with V2 accounts is it enables a bunch of new stuff, like all the new squads system and all the new stuff that's coming in the game, as well as, you know, a lot of the like cloud console and workspaces and things like that already exist. Like that requires V2 accounts, but those are just like additions to the account. Like all the old V1 stuff, all the old, you know, like your campaign progress and, you know, unlocks and all that stuff. Like none of that's going away. This is just like basically moving the accounts to a new server, moving part of them to the new server, and adding features. Originally, I looked into just like still using the old accounts, but trying to add features on top of those. But it was just like that was not feasible. It was just at some point you have to kind of like make a clean break, and so that's why there's V1 and V2 accounts. Like theoretically, the game can exist with only V2 accounts, and you know theoretically we could completely get rid of V1 accounts. But as I mentioned, that won't happen for a long, long time. At least if it ever does happen, like everything will be fully migrated into the V2 account at that point. So, but yeah, when you're signing in with a V2 account, you're essentially signing in with two accounts at once. So it doesn't look like it. So it's just like here I'm signed in with a V2 account, but I'm also technically signed in with an old account too. It's just part of the V2 account. So yes, nerdy technical details. Eric is. I'm so afraid to click on things now. Like, what if, what if I get rickrolled again? Okay, what is this? I knew it. I knew it. And that's the last link I ever click on. Yes, me too. I'm super hyped for all the V2 stuff, all the tournaments, and I do. I'm thinking right now because if you look at the roadmap, you know, there's a bunch of stuff that's coming in Bomb Squad 1.8. So at some point, you have to go to ballistica.net. The roadmap, the easiest way to get the roadmap, go to the wiki. It's here somewhere on the side. Roadmap. So if you're ever curious what's coming, 1.5 done, 1.7 basically done. So 1.8, there's, you know, kind of two big things, which is like scene protocols and the dependency system with asset packages. So, you know, basically what that means is, you know, downloadable assets, which is going to be super cool. And scene protocols, which is going to, you know, improve network play and all that, and let us kind of really evolve the game a lot faster. So I'm excited to get going on that stuff, but also like before I dive into that wholeheartedly, I think I do want to work on some of the cloud stuff a little bit, like some of the things that are actually technically part of 1.9, even though they're not really part of the game itself. It's more like stuff that's on the server, and so that's things like being able to run stuff in, you know, we've talked about this, like run stuff in like sandboxes. so that people could run their own mods, on cloud games. So it's like I kind of want to work on some of that stuff a little bit. It would be great to get to a point where you could start hosting private parties at least with your own mods enabled and stuff like that. So I'm hoping to maybe once all this account stuff is stable and mostly bug free, then I think maybe I might work on at least the beginnings of some of the squad system or like I said, the sandboxing stuff, just like some of the remaining server pieces that'll be a huge part of kind of 1.9 and 2.0, like the whole like easily playing online games with your friends sort of things. We'd be adding any unique features to Bomb Squad Pro in the future. Yes, that's kind of like I know I've been mentioning that I want to have like a monetization manifesto, I'm calling it. I want to take some time and maybe, have a discussion with everyone about like how the game's like monetization should work in like the squads era, like 1.9 because basically the whole game will be kind of moving to a more like, more like where most play will be online by default. So it'll basically be, you're joining some friends, playing matches against other people, and then getting rewards for that, and then using that to unlock stuff. So a bit, it's kind of more traditional, a bit more like you see in other games. And that should make it a lot easier to, progress by just playing. You don't, I still, of course, I need people to buy stuff and pay real money so I can, pay my electricity bill and keep working. And server bills, freaking server bills, man, those are expensive. So of course I'll need, people to buy real stuff, but I also I want to make it more possible to, unlock characters by just, winning enough games and things like that, or getting tickets like every time you play a cloud game online or something like that. So, so things like Pro will kind of come into play there in terms of they'll probably evolve a bit into something slightly different, or maybe something similar, or we'll have to see how they fit in the new world. But yeah, I totally agree here what you're saying. The most important thing is BS doesn't become pay to win. I do not. I don't want it to be pay to win. I want pretty much all unlockables to be cosmetic. Like that's my ideal. Is let's make it as easy as possible to make like fun variations on characters and cool blingy stuff, and people can, and hopefully mostly people will have that because they earned it. They got it through playing and not just through paying. So yeah, that's the goal. But yeah, I definitely don't want, pay to win sucks. That's something I learned like working in free to play. Is it's like there's this whole spectrum of like how your game can operate, and like on one end of it, it's like maybe you make more money, but then your game is ultra sleazy and just like, I don't know, I wouldn't feel good about like being at that point, where it's just like causing people to hit paywalls where like, oh, you can't do anything else until you've paid or something like that, where it's just, or like unreasonable grinding. Like that's another thing where like people who don't pay have to grind like unreasonable amounts. Like I don't want to do that either. So yeah, so that's what this whole like monetization manifesto thing is about. I'd love to like come up with a plan and run it by everyone and see like, okay, does this feel good? Or does this feel like fair to everyone, or feel like a game that you'd feel okay playing? Because I feel like I've seen it both ways. Like I'm sure you all have, where like some free to play games like they feel like fair and good and like, oh, okay, this is fun. I don't mind paying a little bit. But then there's also those other games where it's like, okay, this is clearly just trying to like force me into this corner where I have to pay to get out. Oh, coffee is right here. I'm talking too much and not drinking enough. Oh, I'm using my same cup there. At least my shirt is a different color, so changing things up a bit. I rotated my camera today because you can see in these screenshots it's like pointing in the corner, and I have like my Ratatouille poster and some other stuff there. But I actually took a bunch of stuff to get framed, so it's currently not hanging on the wall. A bunch of my old like Pixar paraphernalia and posters and memorabilia and stuff like that. So the wall is a little empty right now. So oh geez, my phone nearly fell off. I'm using my phone as a webcam, and I'm using a very high tech holder here, as you can see. But it's not the most stable thing, so it nearly fell. 1 second. But anyway, yeah, you can see my wall is a little empty right now, so that's why you all get to see the arcade instead. Yes, high-tech holder. I guess I could use 2 of them. Actually, let me see if I have a second one. Rats. I have a second one, but I think it's in a closet or something. But yeah, if I put 2 of them there, then they're I don't have to like balance it. So, but yeah, in terms of like fairness and unfairness and all that stuff, yeah, I do want the game to feel fair, and I do want it to be like, I've mentioned this before. There's certain things I want to take out. Like right now, the continue button, if you're playing single player levels, you can pay to continue in some cases. I don't like that. It does make some money for the game, and so it's good because it supports me. But it's still like, ugh. I hope to get more skins and things in there, and then I can take stuff like that out. Hey guys, I'll be back in 1 second. I'm gonna adjust the air a little bit. It's a bit warm in here. Okay. I guess it's not too bad, like the continue button, but it's still and I guess a lot of like Candy Crush, a lot of free to play games have stuff like that, but still, I don't know. I'd rather not have things like continues. I'd rather have. I feel like I'd rather have people unlock fun visual stuff as opposed to gameplay related stuff. Character ideas you're planning on adding? Yeah, there's a bunch of ideas I had. A lot of you have noticed if you actually look through the game files, there's a lot of placeholders. So if you go to like assets, I guess you could go to build. So if you go to build, BA data, and then under like models, there's a lot of like, I think, oh yeah, like action hero, some sort of action hero character. Like if you look at what these models are, they're all just copies of Spaz, so nothing is actually different. But what I did is like I put a bunch of like placeholders in here a long time ago, so that if I actually like made those characters, then other people would still be able to like see them or join games with them. It would just show these old Spaz versions. So it's kind of a way to add new characters without having to like actually finish the character, if that makes sense. But anyway, you can see a bunch of the ideas that were like an alien, action hero, assassin, cowboy. What else do we have? Oh, some character with like a jumpsuit. This was like a Kill Bill sort of thing or something like that. Old lady, opera singer, robot of some sort. Like a warrior dude. Witch. Yeah, there's a lot of, I forgot about a lot of these. So yeah, those were some ideas I had, just kind of fun, like generic ideas that would be recognizable. I've had a lot of requests, like people have asked for like specific animals. People like animals, so I've gotten requests for like turtles, and I used to get requests for bears, but then I finally added a bear, so I solved that. Are there any figures for the characters and the locations? Oh, Yeah, actually, I can show you. They're like, unfortunately, I feel bad that I did it, but most of the times when I made characters, I wound up just like smashing the clay afterwards to reuse it. But I have a few of them here. Like, if you can see, like there is Frosty, the original Frosty, hanging up on my shelf there by Baby Yoda. Oh, classic Bomberman character. Why I wouldn't want to. I don't want to get too close to like Bomberman. I mean, a lot of people already kind of call Bomb Squad like, oh, it's a fun Bomberman game. I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to like totally copy their character or something though, just to stay out of like legal trouble. Of course, I want the game to kind of be its own different thing. Yeah, there's an idea on like, yeah, would a monthly or like a battle pass sort of thing, would that be a good idea? Or because part of me is thinking, not to get too into this, but part of me is thinking like, if I had all the characters be only unlockable through like tickets that you earn from playing the game, I thought that would be kind of cool, because it would show that like if you unlock a character, it means like you've played a certain amount, as opposed to like seeing a cool character and like, oh, this guy just paid $20 or something. But the downside of having everything unlockable through gameplay is that there's nothing. I do kind of want something that people could pay for to give people a reason to pay real money. Again, I need to make money on the game too. So I was thinking maybe something like a battle pass could maybe be that sort of thing, where you unlock a battle pass with real money, but then you still have to like play the game to get those characters. So it's something where it's like it doesn't make it too. The characters are still like technically unlocked from playing the game, but then the battle pass encourages you to pay a little bit too. So it's thinking about these ideas, and again, I want to discuss it with everyone and see what people think. Won't all these characters increase the BS download size? So that is the entire reason behind, again, on the roadmap, go back to wiki, roadmap, 1.8. The big feature of 1.8 is asset packages, like this whole like dependency system with asset packages. And what that is it basically means like the game will download stuff on the fly. It's more like a web browser. When you go to a website, the web browser will download the JPEGs and the PNGs and whatever that it needs. So the game will behave more like that, where if a game is running and you connect to that game, it will just like, if it sees characters that it doesn't have, or if it sees, a map that it doesn't have, it will download those first and then join the game. So therefore, the actual game on the store can still be nice and small and easy for people to get, but we'll be able to add new stuff like much easier. So I'm very excited about that. I know people are always asking me like, oh, hey, why haven't you made new characters recently? Or like, when are you going to make a new character? And that's basically my answer, is like, I want to get that system in place, and then it'll be a whole lot easier to make new characters and things, because I won't have to update the game for everybody if I add a new character. Like right now, if I add a new map, basically everyone has to update the game in order for like me to host that map. Otherwise, anyone who joins that game like using an older client will just like crash out or error out. But in this shiny new world of 1.8, like that won't happen. I won't have to update the game like every time we want to add something. And that's why I did this placeholder stuff, is so I put these placeholders in there so that I could fill in these characters without having to update the game. But like I don't like having to do that. I don't want to have to like think ahead. And also, if somebody makes a really awesome mod, like a modded character or something, and we want to like add that, make that officially available or something, we can do that too. So like, yeah, I think it'll be really fun. 1.7 done, or anything left? I mean, the big thing on 1.7 was moving everything to V2 accounts, and so that is, I mean, you can kind of call it done. Like, I think technically all the pieces in the game are in place. Like, yeah, we have, Google Play accounts are now V2. You can upgrade your old device accounts to V2. as I said, there's just a lot of like bugs and smoothing over and things like that that I need to do. So it's going to be a I'll probably be working on that at least for the next few weeks, maybe up to Christmas or something, is just like trying to get all that stuff like working totally smoothly. Um, like linking and fixing that one guy that has 50 connections to my server and things like that. So yeah, there's always in a game like this that's always like a decent part of it. I know it takes it seems like it's I'm kind of slow getting these updates done, but part of that is just because there's always server stuff to deal with. Uh, I showed you that, little errors. Whoops, wrong server. Yeah, just keeping an eye on how many errors are happening at any time. Like I said, right now it's not too bad. This is actually pretty good. Like if there's only warnings, like that's a good sign. The problem is like when something really starts going bad, then you get like errors or even critical errors, and those show up as like red, and those are very scary. So, but right now it's just warnings. So it's kind of like it's working, but it should be smoother. Like the I'm super happy when I come in here and like check out like the last hour of logs and there's like nothing. It's just like completely empty. That's the best feeling. If there's like, thousands of connections happening and stuff, but like no errors, it's like, yes. But that's not the case right now. So, but yeah, there's always like just keeping the servers running. There's always little things going wrong and little, sometimes it'll just be problems with like Google's back end stuff. There'll just be like a crazy number of errors that'll happen for like an hour and there's nothing I could do about it. And so it's, there's always a little bit of just like being a janitor, like watching over this stuff. So I'll be working on this stuff for a while, trying to get rid of that yellow. Like it's interesting now too, like now that everyone is starting to use V2 accounts. Like if I come in this little account list I showed you before, like before it took, over the first few months the V2 accounts were available, we got up to like 20,000 of them. And maybe a few hundred would get created per day or something like that. But now you can see in the last minute, this is how many new accounts have happened. The last 2 minutes, this is the last 2 minutes. So it's like there's lots of new accounts coming in. So it's definitely a little bit, it's kind of scary in a way. It's like so much data. But hopefully the database is holding up. But it's there was one thing I had to do yesterday where I had to like set up a loop to actually like go through all the V2 accounts and like tweak one little value because I wanted to change it, and like that took like hours. I just set up a simple like one machine to just like go through every account and change the value, and it would like I didn't think it would take that long, but it turns out we're up to like 150 or 200,000 V2 accounts right now. You can see when you get a V2 account, it has like a number ID, but then there's also like this letter before it. And that letter is basically, right now it goes from A to F. So that letter is basically used for like, it's called sharding. It's like when the database is too busy, then it like splits off and kind of like, it has another, it's basically like multitasking in the database. So, I have one list that is like the A list and another list that's the B list and the C list and the D list or whatever. So I wish I didn't have to have that letter there because it would just be cooler to have everyone's account be like a simple number. But maybe I can improve that later. So right now it means basically there's 60,000 accounts times like 5 letters, roughly, a little bit less than that. I guess that would be 6 letters, A, B, C, D, E, yeah. 6 letters times 61,000. With a little bit less because like not every letter has every number in it. But anyway, you can see that, yeah, now that everyone's using V2 accounts, there's a lot of stuff happening. So database is growing quickly. Oh, the first player that made a V2 account, that would be me. All right, let's see. Efro account settings, A0, da-da-da. Actually, this is a funny story. Is Dwilliwillik here? Dwilliwillik. No, Dwilliwillik. He's A1. So, yeah. Our friend Dililwilekuk. Whoops. It's a funny story. I originally made myself A1, but I coded the master server a little bit wrong, so it actually assigned A1 twice. So I was A1 and Delibik was A1. And then I felt bad because by the time I noticed the problem, there were like a ton of other people. And so I didn't want to give him like a crappy number. So I went ahead and made myself A0. So yes, there he is. I'm curious, like, what other high numbers there are. Your accounts might be worth something someday. So if you have like A9 or something, if you're out there, you're special. All-time ranking back to normal. I could look into it, though I'm worried like if they found out a way to hack it, if they would just hack it again. In general, my focus is on trying to get that stuff going on V2 because then we can be very careful and make sure that any sort of high score lists or leaderboards or whatever are only based off cloud games, which shouldn't be hackable, or at least not in any reasonably easy way. Oh, it's fixed? Is it really? Yeah, if if it's not fixed, point me at it. Maybe I can just like do a one-time purge of all the bad stuff if we can kind of get it back to a better place. But again, like I don't feel confident about being able to prevent people from doing stuff like that on the V1 side. So it's kind of more like my main focus is trying to get us to V2 cloud-based stuff as fast as I can, and then we will be secure. Yeah. Okay. Okay, that's good to know. If you see that sort of thing show up, oh my gosh, I need to download on Ouya. Realize this is super out of date. Did anyone here remember the Ouya? That was a long time ago. I have it up here. This little is from like 2013. That was actually technically the second platform the game was on, but this little like Android-based micro console thing that came out. It was on Kickstarter. It was like a really big success on Kickstarter. But yeah, the game did quite well on it actually. Like it was one of the more popular games on Ouya. But I still have my Ouya here. I should boot it up and see if it works. But that was fun. It was a neat little community because it was all just kind of like mostly indie games and like small games on there. Even though, it didn't do like they didn't last all that long. It didn't do amazing, but it was kind of it got me noticed. Like actually Google and then Amazon like reached out to me because they saw the game on Ouya. So it was a really good, like putting it on Ouya was a really good decision, I think. But yeah, hopefully this high score list is decently back to normal. So yeah, again, message me if people are clearly hacking or something. Reptile character. Oh, was it? I had gotten a request recently for a turtle and a reptile. Was that you? I mentioning I've gotten a number of requests for like different animals. Like I used to get requests for bears, but I added a bear, and then turtles and reptiles. I've gotten those lately. There was something, a cat. Oh yeah, someone asked about a cat. So that's definitely like I think the most common requests I get is for animal characters, which would be fun. I'd love to add add all of these. Oh yes, mini yes, mini penguin. I want mini penguin too. But I want that to be like a different, that can't be a skin. That has to be like a completely different thing. Like you can just, like a single little rigid body that's like half the size of Spaz that just bounces around. Like that would be so awesome. Like can't actually really do anything, just kind of like runs around. If you want to add famous characters, need something like copyright perms. Yeah, definitely. I mean, at least here in the U.S., there's parody laws, so you can add you can add characters that are meant to like parody other characters or kind of like poke fun at them or like reference them. But you can't just like use the exact character from like a movie or from another game or something. Um, it would be great to get to the point where if the game were big enough and I could make deals with companies to like use their characters or something, have little special guest characters that show up. It's like how Fortnite has all sorts of celebrity characters and like movie characters and comic book characters and stuff show up. Like that'd be super neat, but who knows if we can get there. We'll keep trying. And yeah, we can just kind of make like like you said, cheap cheap copies or stuff where it's meant to remind you of a certain character, but it's not exactly that character. But yeah, I figure again that's part of the 1.8 update thing is like if we can make it easy to add characters, then I could always work with a company. They could build a character or something like that, or who knows. Oh yeah, the Among Us character that would actually it'd be yeah, it's kind of like the right shape. That could work. That'd be funny. Yeah, what other characters would what would you most like to see in the game? What would be a cool character to have? Like what would like fit in the Bomb Squad character shape? Oh, what is this? Is there a link here? That link doesn't seem to work. Fromly.net. Oh, it's so that's a funny story, slightly. So this whole acrobattle thing. When I first got an iPhone, like my very first like smartphone that I got way long time ago. Oh, let me. I think I still have it. Ah, yes. So my first like iPhone from 2000. What was this? 2010, I think. That was my first smartphone I ever got. So iPhone 4, it's so obsolete and old, and I think it still runs now, but I just keep it for nostalgia. But I started just trying to like learn to code on it and code little games and things like that. And so the thing I started working on, I was calling it Acrobattle, and it was just going to be this like weird little like 2D, I don't know, some sort of like 2D thing with like ragdoll characters where you like fight somehow. I didn't know exactly. Um, but yeah, I made like I had like a server for it, and I started like kind of working on server side parts. And the interesting thing is, I had like I built a little master server for it on App Engine, and when I started working on, yeah, I think, oh yeah, I went back to working on Bomb Squad because the Bomb Squad was actually like 5 years earlier that I started making Bomb Squad. But when I wanted to release Bomb Squad, when I started adding like master server stuff, like high score lists and things, I wound up just using this old server for Acrobattle. So if you actually dig around in Bomb Squad and you look for like it might not be in the latest versions, but if you look for like the address it uses to talk to the master server, it's called like Acrobattle server. so so Bomb Squad is actually using this old server for this little game that I started to write for my iPhone that I never really got very far on. Then I just went back to Bomb Squad. So interesting trivia though. But yeah, I think it's still in the game somewhere as Acrobattle server. Let me look. I am curious. Oh yeah, you can see it's showing up in my build scripts. So oh yeah, and the v1 address is Oh yeah, it has two different. There's two different addresses it uses. The newer one is legacy.ballistica.net, which is the V1 master server. But yeah, the old one is acrobattleserver.appspot.com. So it's interesting trivia. But yeah, it's funny you saw that. Acrobattle. No, the iPhone wasn't the server. Uh, the iPhone just had like the app running on it, but there was like a score server which was on running on App Engine, and that was Acrobattle server. So the phone would talk to that server the same way that Bomb Squad talks to that server. But yeah, I had started like doing a different phone game because I figured like Bomb Squad, there's no way at the time Bomb Squad was running on like PC and Mac, and I figured there's no way Bomb Squad would ever run on a phone, right? It's too like there's too much physics and stuff happening. But once I realized like, hey, phones are getting faster like really quickly, like maybe it could run on a phone. At that point, I kind of went back to Bomb Squad. Um, I got Bomb Squad working like it was running on this iPhone back in 2010, but like really badly. It might still be on there. Like I should charge this up and boot it up and see if I can like run my test version of like Bomb Squad 1.3 or whatever that would have been. There's a test page too. For what's the test page? Yeah, it's interesting like seeing all this old stuff that I completely. Oh, I am just a test page. Oh yeah, this seems to be broken, which is okay though. I can just leave it broken. I think I was yeah, I was experimenting with stuff like PHP code on my blog to show different things. Like I think probably like yeah, like the Bomb Squad changelog or something. I mean, I used to I used to use Frumling.net more. Like I would have. I mean, there's still stuff there like Bomb Squad API stuff and this and that, but basically I've moved all that into GitHub and the wiki and whatever. So I'm planning to just not touch any of this. It shouldn't hurt anything by having this broken code out here. So yeah, it is fun like exploring old stuff. I like doing that too. Just like going back 10 years and seeing like, oh wow, this what was I doing 10 years ago, or looking how this code used to look. I know I've mentioned this a few times, and I do need to do it at some point. But I do have like old copies of the game from like 0.6 or something like that. It would be fun to try to get that running. I'm just not sure when I would do that, but one of these days. I imagine because even on the early versions of the game, like 0.6, it was all using SDL, and so I remember it did compile on like Windows and Linux and Mac. So I'm guessing because Linux out of those three is probably the most like constant. Maybe Windows. Like maybe we could get it running on Linux still or something. Like Mac stuff changes pretty quickly, so I'm guessing like trying to compile the Mac version might be a well, maybe it would work okay. We'd have to try, but oh, okay. So is this still just like corrupted? This all-time rank stuff? I wonder what happened. Like there was I'm curious if like one person found an exploit to be able to like post bad. Oh, that's Acrobat. Oh, is it? Oh yeah, acrobattleserver.appspot.com. Haha. That's yeah, it's funny because certain things like that, like I don't think I can change that name. It's basically like the project name for uh, Google Cloud. So if I go back to what I was showing you here with my logs, it's like I have a few Google Cloud projects. This one is BA Master, Ballistica Master Server. But if you go through, like, there's the old one, Acrobattle Server. That's And then, yeah, a few other random ones. But yeah, this is the V1 master server. Which is, yeah, it's V1 master server. It still works. And as I said, I don't have any plans to like stop it or spin it down. I want to keep all the V1 stuff working, but it's like stuck in, Python 2.7, like code that was, written a long time ago. There's no type safety and things like that. So it's like, it's not very fun code to work with for me right now, so that's why I'm mostly trying to kind of keep that separate from the new stuff so I can do like the write things cleanly and, in a maintainable way for the new stuff, and then just like let the old stuff kind of still work, like do what it was doing, but any new stuff will be done in like a cleaner way. Speed boot power up texture. Oh yes, there is. Someone asked this a while back, but yeah, there's a speed boot power up texture. BA data. Where would that be? Textures. Duh. Is it just like speed? What is it called? Run. I'm trying to remember what that was called. Do you have the name? Well, regardless, there's one of these textures. There's a power up which is just like boots. It's supposed to be speed, and in the original game, I mean, if you played Bomberman, I mean, Bomb Squad kind of started more Bomberman like, but in Bomberman, that's one of the power ups you can get is like a speed power up that makes your guy faster, and basically I took that out when running happened. So at some point I decided like a run function could be fun where it's like you go faster, but then it makes you less maneuverable. So there's kind of a trade off there. But before that, there was like you could just get run power ups, which made you more fast all the time. Oh, power up speed. Okay. Power up speed. Oh, there we go. So yeah, here's the old speed power up. It's just like a bad picture of a boot. But yeah, originally there was a speed power up which just made you run faster. Like every time it's stacked, so you could get more and more, and it would just keep you going faster and faster. Which in early versions of the game it was kind of funny, but later it started to just get ridiculous because it just made it impossible to like stay alive. Like any level with edges, you would just like fly off the edge. So that's part of the reason I got rid of it. I figure with the running stuff, like at least, running makes it easy to fall off edges too, but at least that's a choice. Whereas like the speed power up, it just, if you didn't have like an analog stick, if you had like a digital D-pad, it was just like impossible to stay alive. So that's why I took out running, or I took out the speed power up and just left running in there. It could be fun to experiment with again, like maybe if there's a certain level or a certain map where, like football or something, where you can't fall off, like maybe then we could enable that. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I guess probably I could see that. Some probably make use of it because the texture's in there, might as well, right? But yeah, in terms of like this old rank, if anyone has a sense of like, is there a way we can tell which of these are bad scores, or because I could clean out this list maybe if that would be easy to do. That's like the problem with all this stuff though, is like it's sometimes you just can't tell like who submitted a hacked score, and because I can't like collect replays for everybody and watch replays, and it's like there's no like simple technical way to know who's cheating, if people are like hacking their own devices, which is pretty hard to stop people from doing. Which game servers do I know? Like Bomb Squad servers or what? I mean, oh shoot. I mean, I know a lot of the common ones. Or at least I know them by name, but I don't. Yeah, I don't know details about them. Like I would, shoot. Yeah, I know I'd recognize quite a few of them. I mean, I like scan through the lists and like make sure the lists are looking decent and all that. But yeah, I don't know. I admittedly don't join enough of them, or I'm not super familiar with the differences between them. You guys have anyone have like favorite servers, or like are there most well known servers out there? I guess it like differs around the world too, probably. But like most servers are probably just kind of regional. Oh, okay. Yeah, the standard ones like Teams East, like the ones with kind of the boring names, those are the ones that I'm running. So the ones that are just running like the standard game. And yeah, in terms of like verifying stuff with replays, I mean, that would be technically possible, but that's kind of like I'm trying to solve things in a technical way by moving to a place where that's not necessary, where like the logic all runs on my own servers, like the cloud-based stuff. So once we can get like client prediction or something in there where people will be able to like play competitively without feeling lag um, on servers, then I think that'll be that. I think that's the ideal place to be, because then it will be technically impossible to cheat. So we wouldn't have to have like a team of people looking through replays and trying to like make judgments. Because even then, I'm sure there's some cases where, you could. It's like juicing and or like, it's like steroids in sports. Like someone could give themselves like a tiny, tiny, tiny little boost just to help their high score, and a judge probably wouldn't be able to detect it just by like watching their replay. So I think the best would just be making that impossible to do. If that's, I know it's a difficult challenge, but like I hope we can do it. That would be awesome. I don't know. That's kind of like my. I shouldn't say it's my goal, but like that would be so awesome, is to like see people playing like Bomb Squad in like an esports context or something, or like an esports team or something as part of like an esports thing. I always jokingly tell people like that's my goal with this part of my career, like working on Bomb Squad full time, is like I'd love to be able to like buy a ticket to go watch people play Bomb Squad somewhere. Like that's if I can ever do that, I will be you know achievement unlocked. So yeah, and who knows if I'll get there or whatever, but it's a neat little dream to have. I feel like it's always good to have dreams. It's like for to have something kind of concrete or something that you can kind of aim towards. Yeah, I'd love to watch people like competitive people like playing the game. That would be so cool. I always joke about this, but people ask me about different things, just like, oh, like spin jump, bomb jump, spin punch, like how did you come up with like the triple backflip, like double bomb jump spin maneuver? And I was like, I didn't. People made this stuff up. It's awesome. So that's the fun thing about making things kind of like physics based and a little bit out of control in a way. It's like people can kind of like learn to manipulate the physics in crazy ways that I never even like intended or thought of. So it's neat to see that. Oh, well, part of that is on me. Like I do need to get the game out on iPhone and on Steam and stuff. So more, there's a lot of people who simply don't have access to it. I know in some parts of the world, like Android is the vast majority of like phones and stuff, like 80%. But like here in the U.S., it's basically even, where it's like Android is half people and iPhone is half people. So um, I think that's largely why, if you look at the map, like the U.S. doesn't have a ton of Bomb Squad players compared to some places. Let's check. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's not terrible, but if you look at like South America, I feel bad. Like South America has so many players. There's a lot of players in Europe, just not too many in the U.S. Even though I have like a crap ton of servers here, which is just because Amazon offers like so many server locations here. So I'm just using all these. I spun up several more recently, so like there's a few more added in the U.S. There's a second one in India now. Is Hyperabad? I don't know how to say that. Um, and yeah, we got the Hong Kong one recently. There's a lot more that hopefully will be available too. Like Warsaw is coming up. There's another one in India, and there's a second one available now in South America, but I can't use it yet. Like if we look at like AWS, where AWS supports, like they're starting to the purple ones are where they're available. So like there's these new purple ones starting to pop up, but like I can't use any of these yet because they don't offer the right type of instances. Like I can't. I use like what's called like T instances, and so you can see like all these different servers. They have like these different instance types, and Bomb Squad uses the T instances, which are the I won't get into the nerdy details, but all these new servers that they're spinning up, like Warsaw, Taipei, what's got Helsinki, Hamburg, like all these new ones, they all have this asterisk here, which says like upcoming. So I'm waiting on this stupid asterisk. But as soon as this asterisk disappears, then we can run servers in like all these places, which is very exciting. Oh yeah, Hyderabad. Hyderabad. Am I saying that right? But yeah, there's servers there now. Oh yes, I should mention. Yeah, in 1.9, yes, I want this. I want this so much. What I'm planning to do in general with the V2 stuff is I'm planning to like even for like tournaments or online things, like I want to do it in a way that other people can do the same thing I'm doing. So like when I write the logic for a tournament, I want other people to write that same logic. So I want to build it probably on top of that same like sandboxing system, but basically it would just be like a Python script that would say like, hey, give me a bunch of players in this region, and then it would like pair them up into matches, and then the winners of those matches would play the winners of the other match. So it'd be like writing a little Python module that would just like determine how a tournament works, or it could be like a battle royale sort of thing. Who knows? Maybe not like everyone in the same game, but just organizing a game with a ton of people, and then it like just determines like who plays against who, and then the final two people play in one match and whatever. But yeah, I'd love for people to be able to kind of like customize that, or like you said, like make your own tournament, maybe where people had to like enter a password to join the tournament or something, so you could or you could like make yourself like a web backend to control it or something like that. Who knows? But yeah, that's my general goal for the 2.0 stuff is making everything user moddable as much as possible, so that like the like I'm using the same tools like this, like the little web portal thing here. Like this is just something I'm building for myself to like control the backend, control the server stuff, and this is the same thing that everyone else has access to. You don't have some of the like the admin tools here, but like when I'm adding new characters and assets to the game, I'll be using like the asset packages section here, which is not turned on right now, but I definitely want to like dog food this stuff where like I'm using the same things that everyone else is using. I think that's a good way to do things. So interesting. Most people hate shield and glove power up when it comes to competitive. Yeah, I'd be curious. Is that something? Would competitive people like those more if they were just like nerfed a bit, or do they just prefer them to be gone completely? I'm wondering. And that would be something good to support, like for maybe pro matches, is to let people just remove those completely easily or something. But it's also like it seems like it'd be good to balance them if possible too. It's always tricky like balancing things sometimes to make it fun for pro players, but also make it fun for like newbies and stuff too. So yeah, something like that, like yeah, customizing what shows up in tournaments. I've thought about that in general. I think that'd be a fun feature in the squad stuff, is be able to be like maybe just adding a dedicated like customization section for like enabling or disabling power ups. or adding new plug-in power-ups. Just some simple way where it's like, okay, this game is on this map with this game type, and maybe these power-ups or something. Just a one extra customization bit you could do. They say that's a what? But yeah, that'd be interesting to see, like, yeah, what pro players would want. Well, I've mentioned this before, where it's like I do. That's another reason for wanting to get the squad stuff working better, is to kind of give people a better introduction to the game. Because the game was originally written for, like, I literally wrote it for me to play with my friends. We'd be having like Halo parties and a ton of people in the same place, and so we'd get a big game with like 8 people playing on a big TV, and like that's I still feel like situations like that, like a 6 or 8 player game with everyone sitting next to each other, like that's about the best experience. So I still I want to try to bring that experience to like mobile people if possible. Just make it easier to have that kind of experience if you're playing alone on a phone. Like throw you into a team game or something like that with some people and have it be fun, as opposed to like just jumping in the middle of like a random free for all and no one knows what's happening, and then you leave shortly after and it's like it's more fun when it's like you're on a team, or like you're at least in a situation where it's like the teams stay consistent or something. So I'm hoping squads and stuff will help with that. And yeah, I would agree on the camera thing. Like we should try to get that in there. And then, well, yeah, chat is, we've discussed chat before, but my thought is that for squad stuff, you would basically have like a team or a squad chat, where it's like you're playing with a few friends and you're chatting with them, and then but you're not chatting with everyone. Like the teams that you're playing against, you can maybe use emotes, or maybe there's some limited way to communicate with them. But I think by default, making it so that like you're just chatting with your teammates is probably a good non-toxic way to do things. And then maybe there'd be an option, perhaps, like if you do want to chat with the other team or something, you could like enable that, but like maybe not by default. Curious to hear like what people's thoughts on that would be. I know for me, like I don't play a ton of like online multiplayer games, but when I do, like I'm not super interested in like talking to the people I'm playing against. Like if I'm playing with a friend, I like we can talk with each other and strategize and things like that. But I'm not the type that I enjoy like smack talking people with live conversation or whatever. Yes, friends lists, definitely. There will be definitely friends lists or like recent friends or something. The whole thing with the squad system is like there will be like a squad, which is like you and people that you've invited into your squad, and you can communicate with them and you can like join games together or whatever. A lot of games have this sort of thing. Like look at like Fortnite or something, where like that's how you kind of play. Just invite people to your little group, and then so obviously you'd want a way to be able to kind of like remember people and invite them back and stuff. So yeah, there'll definitely be stuff like friends lists. But also anything, like I'm in favor of anything else that makes it easier to get people into your squad, or whatever. So like Discord integration, or like whatever is the easiest way to be able to you know like invite people to play with you. Like we should try to get everything working. Clans would be interesting. Like I don't know if there would. I'm curious if there would be any reason to have clans like in the game, like any benefits of that, or if that would be like a way down the road sort of thing. But people can obviously like make their own clans. They all have like a same prefix to your like a account tag or something like that. I don't know. Do you still play with some friends in local network? Well, usually when I'd be playing with friends, it wouldn't even be the network. It would simply be just like all playing on the same device, like, all playing on the TV. I haven't. The last time I did was. It's been a little while. I bought a bunch of new Xbox controllers like last year. My girlfriend and we were living in Oklahoma for a while with a bunch of other folks from Poland. She's from Poland. Long story. But anyway, there were a bunch of people living real nearby, so we would get together and just have like video game parties and stuff. So we busted out my game a few times, and we'd have big 8-player games and stuff like that. So that was fun. But haven't we came back to California then like 6 or 7 months ago, and so haven't had an opportunity for any like big games since then, which I'm a bit bummed about, but one of these days. Favorite game controller. I am probably in general. I just I like the Xbox ones, so I think I'm a fan of the latest Xbox controllers. I just like the the gamepad placement or the analog stick placement. I mean, I have a ton of game controllers, just like test them with the game and make sure they work. Like I like the PlayStation ones too, in that they're like symmetrical. But yeah, I feel like I just like Xbox. How about you folks? Some of that might be because I just remember playing Halo with friends in college so much, and so like Xbox has like a nostalgic like feel to me. It's like, oh. Oh yeah, I had Logitech. I had like old Logitech controllers back when I first was writing the game, like wired USB, like super cheap, like not super cheap, but yeah, like the wired USB Logitech controllers, and I'd plug like 8 of them together into a USB hub, and I'd play that way with so many wires. I still have a few of them. Let me go check. I'm gonna check. So here is my box of old controllers. So yeah, here's my the original ones I was playing with, like back when I first started writing the game. These old USB wired Logitechs, which were super cool. They worked pretty well. I mean, it's basically PlayStation like layout. But yeah. Got some really old ones here. There's one I like got from my brother, got back in like the 1990s, like an old Microsoft Sidewinder. Yeah. Didn't even have like analog and stuff back then. And of course I use these for the longest time, just standard Xbox 360, which are still, unfortunately they don't work really anymore with like my Mac. I think they still work great for like PC players, but like Mac stopped supporting them very well. But yeah, I have like all these random weird obscure controllers that I've built up over the years. Yeah, I feel bad. I haven't like played a ton with most of them. Most of them is just for like testing, things like that. But uh-oh, we got a non-muter here. I'm gonna mute you, Mr. Mushroom, if that's all right. Um, but yeah, a lot of that is just for like testing to make sure it works with different controllers, or like stress testing. Seeing how many controllers you can plug in and things work. Uh, yeah, it's partly just like over the years, you get one every now and then it like builds up. Or the same with phones. I think I show everyone my randoms collection of just like all my drawer full of random old test phones, which is, you know, a lot of just like old Android phones that barely even work or maybe don't even work or things like that. But it was just like, you know, to test problems with the game. So yeah, that's the part of being a game developer, I guess, is just like testing on different hardware. So yeah, some good notes here, like the player-focused camera, things that would be good to get in. It's always tricky to know like what to prioritize. You know, like I've been spending so much time on accounts and all this technical stuff, and I'm hoping to be done with that soon. But you know, I'm always wanting to at some point get back to to gameplay, like actually like improving the gameplay and evolving gameplay and things like that. It's just there. It seems like there's always more technical stuff to deal with. You know, like moving things to V2 accounts or getting cloud servers working or whatever. Can make customized playlist part of the Pro pack. Isn't it already part of Pro, or you mean make it not part of Pro? Like, doesn't that require Pro right now, or did I change that? I don't remember. But I would like, I hope to make customized playlist not require Pro at some point, if that is what you're saying. Oh, can you take that part out of? Oh, okay. Can you? Okay, yeah. Yes, I do hope to take that out of Pro at some point. I would like that to be available to everyone because I think that's one of those things where I think it makes the game more enjoyable for people. So like I feel like that's a good thing for everyone to be able to do. Um, it helps me because then you know more people probably play the game because it's more fun. So yeah, I should take that out. But it's also one of those things where it also does kind of encourage some people to upgrade to Pro, which you know I need some people to do that to pay bills. So, but I do, as I mentioned, my goal is to get most of the game's monetization to just be like cosmetic stuff, to where things like limiting things like playlist creation and stuff like that. I don't want to have to do that. Oh, can the rest of you hear me? Someone, Mr. Mushroom doesn't. Okay. Sorry, Mr. Mushroom. You were unmuted. I muted you, but I don't think I like blocked your audio or anything. Hmm. Oh, look at me. I forgot about that. There's a GDC Next. Oh, there's a video of that? Wow. I didn't. That was a long time ago. I didn't know anyone had a video of that. That's cool. Yeah, the Ouya people invited me down to talk about Bomb Squad. They had a little conference in LA here, like back in 2013. Oh, you can send it if you want. That was long. Oh man, that was almost. It was like 8 years ago or 9 years ago, whatever that. Math is hard. 59 minutes. I think a little. I think just part of it was me. I think most of it. Yeah, it was like a bunch of different people showing their games. Oh, but yeah. Yes, I do make money from ads. So that's another thing where it's like everyone hates ads. I hate ads. I don't like seeing ads, but it does make money. So, um, but I that's why I want to I disable them when you upgrade to Pro and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I do. When you watch ads, it does make some money for me. So, the game actually, it's almost like exactly half and half, where like half of my income comes from ads and the other half comes from unlockable stuff. Um, it seems that most big games like Clash of Clans, like the big mobile games, they make like all their money from, you know, unlockable stuff or in-game purchases or whatever. So I'd be curious if I could not need ads, but we'll see if I can get to that point. But again, I definitely want like people who I definitely want it to be possible to avoid ads by, like either unlocking Pro or whatever else. Because ugh. I know like I prefer to spend extra when I can, to avoid ads in most cases. Though I didn't with YouTube. I haven't like done like the fancy YouTube that has no ads. I guess maybe I should consider that. But but yeah, if you're watching an ad, it does help me. So thank you. So yeah, in general I appreciate anytime anyone unlocks something or buys something or whatever. You're you're helping support my game development habit. But I also I do want to make it. I want to make the game feel like that's something you want to do because it's fun or because it's you feel like you're getting something out of it too. So I don't want it to just feel like charity. Also, yeah, but yeah, in general, like games that's. I mean, I guess there's probably like popular or big games that use ads, but it does seem like at least the Supercell ones they seem to not ever have ads. They just make all their money through in-app purchases. But I know like Clash of Clans and those type, they make so much money. Those are definitely. I don't feel like those games are like sleazy necessarily, but it's like they definitely encourage you to spend a lot of money. I was playing. I didn't actually play Clash of Clans too much. I played Boom Beach for a while. I don't know if that's still around. It was kind of like basically the same thing, with kind of like a more modern military theme. But yeah, Clash of Clans is super grindy. It's never. It's always tricky, like doing ads too, like trying to decide. I'm looking at reviews and stuff, and some reviews are always like, "There's too many ads," and so it's like, I never know like how many ads like is the right amount to get to make enough money, but then also like not scare away enough people, and so it's tricky to like balance this stuff. Oh, so Supercell does have ads sometimes. Okay, but yeah, that's another question too, like where because again, like the squad stuff, like when you're playing in squads mode, it'll basically be like almost a different game. It'll be like you know, more like Clash Royale or some game where like you're playing around with some people and then you come back out and maybe unlock some stuff if you got some stuff and then play another round and so it'd be more like kind of a normal game loop. So I'm curious like where ads would work there, like maybe or like rewarded ads. Rewarded ads seem like the big thing. So like yeah, I'll just have to think about it. Like, what would be a good way to do ads that wouldn't feel too sleazy? But yeah, it's tricky with that sweet spot, like finding the sweet spot. But the thing I want to stress is that I definitely always want it to be possible to get rid of the ads. Like for people that if you unlock Pro or something like that, like ads should go away. I don't want to ever like force people to watch ads. It's more just like it's a way to pay for the game. If you want to do that. So many eggs, yes. What are other popular like mobile games right now? Like, is there something that like everyone's playing? Um, I feel like I'm a little bit out of the loop. For a while, I was following stuff more closely, but I haven't like tried any new games lately. Oh yeah, I'm curious. Like, what do you guys consider yourself? How many of you are like mobile gamers versus like PC gamers? Or yeah, I'm actually kind of curious. I'm Ericing. It's way better than egging. Haha. Ooh, console, nice. that's a whole other conversation, man. I'd love to get the game on a console. Just so many things to do. Ooh, Linux console gamer. Nice. Oh, fellow Apple person. All right, that's. I always laugh because I'm like an Apple person, but the game is not on iPhone, so people are like, "What?" All right, we got Windows people. I still need to fix the font issues on Windows. I do feel bad about that. That came up again recently, like getting Unicode fonts in there. Cool, cool. PlayStation and mobile. All right. Yeah, it's something I hadn't thought about. I was curious, like the modding community, if there's, I'm sure there's more like PC people and stuff or Linux people, because it's going to be a lot easier to mod the game that way, at least traditionally. I mean, it still is. Like, it's hopefully more possible on a phone now with some of the newer stuff, like cloud console and workspaces and whatever. But it's always going to be easier to do on a full PC or Linux box or whatever. So yeah, I'm curious, like how much of the modding community plays the mobile version versus like the PC test builds or whatever. Can you smoothly spin on Bomb Squad with keyboard, Eric? Let's try. I feel like I can do okay. Like I can do better with a analog stick, but burp, burp, burp. Oof. I feel like I sort of can. But yeah, it's not like not nearly as good as. Oh yeah, it's a little tricky. Now I'm thinking about it too much. It's like stage fright. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can knock myself out. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, it's a little tricky. Oh, I did it. I did it once. I did it. Oh, almost. Oh no. This is actually challenging. Like, how many of you can like pass out with WASD? Aha! Success. Okay. Yeah, it was tricky, like setting up the controls. Like I kind of that's why if you look at the math, if you come into I guess that's in the spaz, probably like the spaz node source. The spaz node is such a mess, by the way. It is such a giant mess. I need to split that apart at some point. But it's under source ballistica, scene, node, spaz node. So this big giant ugly 7,000 line C file, C++ file. But anyway, if you poke around in here, there's some like soft squishy logic for when it calculates like the direction that he's using for stuff. It's like a smooth version. So that the idea was like even if you're using like a keypad or a digital gamepad, it still like kind of adjusts your direction sort of slowly so that hopefully keyboard players would be able to do like slight adjustments and stuff too by like pressing the key really really quickly or something. 6 billion downloads. What? Wow. Voodoo. Yeah, I have to look into that. I should get caught up on like what are the latest games because yeah, I've been kind of in my cave just working on Bomb Squad for a while and I haven't like played new games. Advertising their mini games. So do they build just like a ton of like mini games? Are these basically just like all equal? It's just like little things. Interesting. Yeah, that's fascinating. I mean, my general idea, with Bomb Squad, of course, is like you can write mini games. It's just like a single game that contains a bunch of mini games. Um, But it's an interesting idea, like doing that sort of thing, where instead of one game that has a bunch of mini games, it's like each mini game is its own game. Um, but I was also saying like it's at least for me like being a solo developer, it's like there's so much involved. Like every time you release a game, you have to like fill out the store section and like set up the app ID and all this like kind of busy work to like get a game out there. Like I guess you could automate some of it, but it just seems like that seems like so much work doing that for every single one of these. I'm sure they have like a good process, but that's partly why I'm just like keep working on Bomb Squad. I just want to like evolve Bomb Squad into like other things, make it make it more flexible where you can make more slightly bigger variety of mini games. Like we're saying, like other characters besides Spaz, like Mini Penguin. you know, so like that's my general idea is like kind of being able to do more with the same game, and that way I don't have to, set up a new game on all these different stores every time, just because of being lazy. Audience mostly kids. Okay. I mean, I feel like that same sort of thing could work for adults though too. Everyone likes mini games. Is this another Rickroll? I'm taking a chance. Oh, good. It's an actual video. Cool. Let's watch that again. Ooh, nice. Heck yeah. I know this. I mentioned this a few weeks ago too, but it's like it's funny how many people, think that like the different characters have different attributes and stuff. Even though if you look at the code, they're all like the same. The only thing that's a little different is like they have maybe slightly different like rigid bodies. Like the physics is a tiny bit different, but that doesn't actually affect their like speed or whatever, or at least it shouldn't in any significant way. But people like get these misconceptions that like, oh, Kronk is like he has way stronger punches, or this character is a little faster or whatever. But unless I'm completely wrong and like those little physics differences like add up, but I don't think they do. Like all the characters should have the same physics. Oh yes, Candy Crush. Such a so many people play Candy Crush. I assume they still do. They used to, but oh right, yeah, yeah. I forgot. Bunny is what is like it's a high pitched version of is it Kronk? I recycled one of the characters I know for Bunny, so when you play in slow mode, it just sounds like Kronk. Yeah, I got my, my laziness got caught. Or not laziness, but I thought it worked well. It just doesn't work well when you realize when you hear it in low pitch and realize it's oh I've heard that before. Oops, what am I doing? Add-on rewards for the first place in each season. I would love to do that. That's yet another thing on my like would love to do it list. Um, and I'm trying to think about that in like V2 squads land. Being able to kind of like come up with like trophies or some cool thing that would like maybe show up as part of your character or maybe like part of your about me screen or something. My thought is maybe that like right now if you're going into let's say you're playing tournaments or whatever, click on a dude's name, you get like this. My thought is kind of maybe have something better than this for like squad stuff or V2 stuff. Maybe there'd be a section, maybe you could like show all the characters that you've unlocked or something, or show a bit more personalized stuff. And like maybe there'd be like awards or trophies or, something that would be like, hey, this person came in first place in season 35 or something like that. Like I'd love for people to kind of like there's the trophies section, but that's just like it's generally just a big giant list for good players of like the same sort of thing. It'd be great to have like more personalized stuff. So that's a general goal, that I want to move towards with the squad stuff. is being able to kind of like show off your achievements or show off stuff that you've done more. A donator badge. Oh yeah. Well, in a way, that part of that is in a slight way selfish too. Like if it allows you to show things you've unlocked or whatever, a little bit of that involves you've maybe unlocked pro or a like a battle pass or something like that, which that would, in a way, it lets you show off cool stuff, but then that also helps me pay bills too. So I feel like that would have the same sort of effect as having like a donator badge. Yeah, like flex your pro pack, exactly. Again, striking a balance. Don't want to make the game too like pay to be awesome, but also giving people a little bit of like show off your toys sort of thing. Or yeah, contributor badge, that could be cool. Yeah, just something like if you've contributed to GitHub or something, or yeah, like that. That brings up different. Like one thing I found with, it's so funny now. I mean, it's awesome how many people have. Oh no, did the game? Oh no, this happens sometimes where the game seems to get stuck or something. I don't know if that's a Mac version specific thing. Let's see if I can. Oh yeah, going into the credits, looking at language translations. There's been what like bajillions of translators now. And I'm sure a lot of it, like there's a fair amount that just translate like one thing or like add like tweak one little thing and submit a translation entry. And I'm sure a decent amount of those is just like wanting to get into the credits. So it does make me wonder if you have something like a contributor badge based on like a GitHub commit, like how many GitHub commits would happen that are just like for the purpose of getting that badge. Like, I don't want to encourage people to do things for the wrong reasons, but I also want to like thank people who have done them for the right reasons. So just, tricky to figure out, I guess. Dark theme or light one? You mean just like in general, like for computers or phones or whatever? I got all my stuff set up to just like switch throughout the day. I used to all be about like dark mode in general, but now I just have it. For me on Mac here, it's I just have it auto, so it switches like it's daytime here right now, and then at nighttime, it switches to dark mode. So I like both. I do the same with like my phone. I just have it auto switch. Like I said, I think dark mode looks cooler. And I used to always use dark mode, but then I found like on my phone, I'd be out in the middle of the day and like it's hard to read stuff if the sun is shining bright. So I found like switching was kind of like auto switching was fun. How about you folks? Are you dark mode people? Light mode people? Switcher people? Dark mode always? Okay, cool. I mean, I leave like some things like Discord. I still have on dark mode. I think does Discord have an option to auto switch? But I feel like Discord would look weird in light mode. Or is Discord always in dark mode? I lose track. Oh, if you've translated and you should be on there. If not, yeah, maybe let me know. Because basically, if I accept any translation you've submitted, then it should. If you fill out your name on the translation page, and then it should just automatically add that to the translators list. So if you're not seeing yourself, let me know. Settings, appearance. Ah, yes, there it is. Oh yeah, this doesn't seem like Discord. That seems weird. Or sync with computer. So yeah, I feel like Discord should be dark. It just seems like the right way. There's certain things that I feel like should just be dark. Like one is like I feel like 3D apps or like pro apps. Oh yeah, like Blender's dark, right? Let's check. Yes, like I feel like Blender should be dark. That just looks right. But yeah, it did seem like kind of eye strainy looking at dark mode stuff like in bright sunlight. So, but I guess I'm not usually like looking at Discord and stuff in bright sunlight, so it's okay. Oh no, you're doing it wrong. No, it's okay. I remember like I used to use like Maya, the 3D app that I used for everything. Like I don't think it even had like a dark mode until well, maybe like 10 years ago or something. But when I was learning it, it was all light mode. So I'm not ripping on light mode. Light mode is totally fine. Or maybe it did have options. I don't remember. But I remember I just used it in light mode. Oh man, I've started a big argument here. People are gonna split apart into dark mode and light mode factions. I should add that in the game where you can like specify that as like your icon or something. Like team dark mode, team light mode. Oh, a playtime counter. That would be interesting. I have basic things on like the my old V2 stats server. I've shown some of you this. This is this is so ugly. Um, let's see. Yes, account edit. So when I'm looking through, I made myself this little page for the V1 account server. If it oh here we go Acrobattle server. If it wants to respond. Oh, I think my computer might be in this weird state where it doesn't. Oh yeah. Ugh. My computer gets into this state where like new web queries and stuff just like stop working for like 8 minutes at a time, even though like existing stuff like Discord is working fine. I'm really not sure what causes it. I've been like pinging Apple, like submitting bug reports to try to get to the bottom of it, but no such luck. So this will start working again in like 7 or 8 minutes. Stupid Apple. I like Apple stuff, but you know, they are sometimes buggy, as is everything, I guess. Um, but anyway, I was going to show you my janky old like account editor where it has like some basic stats on like how many games people, or you know, how many times they've been active recently, or when they first played and stuff like that. There's some interesting stuff there. Ooh, Bomb Squad themes. This would be kind of cool, and this goes into like a completely different topic, which is I really want to revamp like the UI system in Bomb Squad. I mean, it's totally fine now; it works. But as any of you, oh, I can't. Oh, this is why the game crashed too, because it's the same weird bug where like I just can't do stuff for 10 minutes. Um, but can I launch? Wait. Oh no, nothing. Oh geez, now everything's hanging. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna not try. Oh nope, there it goes. But yeah, I'd love to like any of you who've like messed with this UI stuff. I know I've done some like live coding bits with it. You know, it's not the cleanest. It has kind of a weird UI. Um, I'd love to like clean that up and make like a modern, better UI for doing UI bits. And then as part of that, it would be fun to make it like themable, or at least have like a dark and light mode or something. I mean, right now you could make you know, a particular. You have control over like all the colors, so you could make like a particular window that's like a dark mode looking thing. But we don't have any sort of like high level way to do that. And unfortunately, most of this UI, like if you look at any of the UI code, there's like so many hard coded things where it's just like the color is specifically set to some value because it looks good. And so it's like making everything look consistent it was just kind of like manually done. So it's not something where we could easily like change this green to be, you know, some other color and have like everything respect that. You know, we'd have to go through like all the UI and tweak every little specific thing. But that being said, I mean, we could write like a better UI toolkit or API that would have like high level controls like that, and then we could, you know, for at least new UIs, maybe they could have you know, a dark and light mode settings, or be more like user customizable or something like that. It could be fun, or just like a, you know, we could add like a theme manager or something, and then like slowly start having UIs like support that, or who knows. Different things to think about, but But in general, yeah, it would be fun to like. I'd love to take a pass and make the UI better, or cleaner at some point. There's a number of subsystems in the game. Like the UI is one that I want to like make a better version at some point. Another one is like the preferences or like settings, game settings. Right now, there's basically this big like Python dictionary. You can just like stuff whatever in there, and then it'll get like saved out. I'd like to like make that a bit like cleaner at some point. Because the problem is if you stuff the wrong thing in there, the game will like have an error when it tries to convert that to like JSON and write it to disk. So it's a little bit like scary. I'd like to make it a little bit more kind of foolproof and just clean. So yeah, there's different like game subsystems that I'm hoping to clean up as time goes on, but I'll get to them. This is a a very long-term project. I don't have any plans to like switch to something else, so it's like I just want to kind of keep evolving things so we can clean things up as we go. That might be like version like 2.2 or something. Who knows? I'm not. I'm trying to kick unnecessary stuff back until the big like 2.0, which is basically like squads and iPhone and Steam. Until that stuff is done. But yeah, and as you say here, simplicity is good too. It's like we don't want too much complexity. Like when you're writing a UI, you probably don't want to have to worry about like, oh, I need to check all these different themes and whatever necessarily. Um, but if it does that for you, maybe that's okay. Oh, mod already exists. Oh, interesting. Yeah, all this stuff is interesting. Like customization, it's always interesting finding a balance. It's like we want this stuff to be customizable and all that, but the downside is like if we expose customs for or if expose a lot of options in the game, that means like we're kind of on the hook to like test those options and make sure that things work with all of them. And so it does in a way like adds some like technical debt, as they say. So I think there's some fun balances where it's like you have the game support a small set of things but do it pretty well. But then if people want to like add their own stuff, like that's what mods are for. And but it's not like officially supported. So it's like all things, it's a balance, I think. Thoughts on Bomb Squad very own music theme? Oh, that would be interesting. I I mean, I've just relied on like public music, like publicly available music, like classical songs that people recognize, things like that. Which I was kind of inspired by, if you've watched old like Bugs Bunny cartoons, like Merry Melodies and things like that, where they use a lot of old classical music. Always thought that was cool, so I kind of wanted to do something similar. But that would be interesting to see if there's like a theme that could sort of fit in with that, but still be like specific to Bomb Squad. I may, I mean, when we switch to like the squads mode thing, as I've mentioned, it'll probably be a completely different like start screen. You'll basically like switch the game into like squads mode, and so it'll almost be like a different game at that point, like a different main menu. So that might have different music or something. So that's something to think about. And also, I do want to make the existing music. I want to up the quality on that. I was I went out on my I got a nice big TV like this last year when we moved to back from Oklahoma to California, and I was playing. I spun up Bomb Squad on like the Shield TV that I have out there, and I was like on the big TV with the big speakers and stuff. It was like, oh man, this music sounds so bad quality. Like maybe it's okay on a phone or something, but like I'd love to at least up the bit rate or get like better quality music and sound and stuff like that. So I could maybe some of that might be I'm just compressing it way too much with OGG just to keep the game size down. So maybe I can like loosen up on that a little bit. Maybe that as part of 1.8, since we can download some stuff on the fly. We don't have to include like everything in the game necessarily. So maybe I can like do higher quality versions of some stuff. This creepy watermelon face thing keeps showing up everywhere. Oh, cool. Oh, it stopped. Yeah, yeah, it does sound good. It's interesting. If you check out the game, like my oh, it's playlist. Okay. My buddy, who was my roommate at the time, on credits, he should still be. Oh yeah, additional auto early artwork and ideas, but Raphael Suter. I should probably. I was gonna say maybe I should move him further down because it's been a long. He helped me with like the first version of the game way back in the day, but he actually did some music for the game. He likes. He's musically talented, so he did some like kind of like techno sounding. Um, he did some like techno sounding like music for the game, which is like completely different style than what's in there now. But I still have that around somewhere, so it was kind of I should play that for people. It was kind of neat. So this just reminded me of that because it sounds a bit more like a slightly different style, like not like the classical music. Sounds more like ambient or techno or something like that. But yeah, cool stuff. And I mean, I want the game to be something where people can like embrace different themes and stuff too. So if someone wants to make a campaign or a mini game or something like that and use like completely just like techno music or a different style of music, like there shouldn't be any reason people can't. It's kind of like the clay theme. It's like I think having like the clay and like the real world theme is like it kind of ties everything together. But if someone wants to do a particular mini game in a different style, like that's okay too. Oh, interesting. Okay, Minecraft, manually download it. Yeah, that's always an option too. Like we could have different things. Like if you want to download a different, or maybe there could be like a switch, like flip on like high quality mode or like different soundtrack mode or something. Like in the soundtrack section, we could have like different like pre-made soundtracks you could download or something. That could be cool. Like completely like skinning the game with like a electronic like soundtrack or something. Could be kind of fun. Oh, now it comes with the game itself. Interesting. That's kind of fascinating. Oh, my internet is still wonky. Otherwise, I would show you on the Google Play, like the page they show you with your stats and stuff like that. Um, One of the things they show you is like how big your app is compared to like peers or like other similar apps. And they keep showing me like, oh, Bomb Squad is like 6 megs bigger than like the average app in that category, which just seems weird to me because it's only like 60 megs right now. But apparently, like the average app in my peer group is like 55 megs. So they're still not terribly big. And I know they say like keeping your app as small as possible does improve, like more people can download it. So it's like there's, part of me doesn't want to bundle too much stuff. Electronic soundtrack on Submarine Day. Yes. Or we can have like a submarine themed soundtrack with like very like ambient, watery, like pulsy, pingy noises. Like just submarine music. We're gonna start a whole like genre. Aw. Well, welcome. Yeah, it is still pretty small. I mean, some of that is, as I said, some of that is I'm probably compressing music too much and things like that, and some textures are probably smaller than they should be. So I do want to like make things a bit bigger. As part of 1.8 is kind of like making some of the assets a little higher quality. Oh, cool! Did people like made a made a playlist with Bomb Squad songs on it? Nice. Yeah, I've told this story before, but yeah, there used to be for the first years when Bomb Squad was on Google Play, there was a limit of an APK could only be 50 megs, and so I kind of struggled to kind of get everything fitting into 50 megs. It's that limit is since gone. It's like 200 megs or 250 or something like that. But but yeah, for quite a while, like when I'd want to add a character or I'd add a few textures to the game or some new stuff to the game, like I'd have to go through and like find other characters to like shrink their textures. Like it was really tricky to like get everything fitting into that 50 megs. Um, it was possible, but like there's some map textures and things that had to be like downsized to like half their resolution, and so there's probably a lot of places where I could like turn the quality knob back up and it would look a bit better. So at some point I should do that now that like it's no longer an actual limit. It's crazy though, like if you look at old games, like look at history and look at like the size of old like Super Nintendo games or Nintendo games or Atari games or just any games, like even early console games like PlayStation 1 and stuff, like how small those games were, like how, like an NES game, something we think of as big, like The Legend of Zelda, it was probably like, 40 kilobytes or something like that. It's crazy how small of limitations they had back in the day. So I feel like 50 megs would have seemed like an infinite amount of storage, for them at the time. But now it seems like so small. So kind of crazy. Oh yeah, this that'll be fun to come up with some sort of. Well, I guess we'll have to do some sort of management system, like some sort of UI to be like show you what is taking up space and like, allow you to manually delete it or something. Like the game will probably be. I'll probably try to have the game be smart about like old stuff maybe that you haven't used in a while will get auto deleted, so you can just like be It's same with like a web browser. The web browser like downloads all the JPEGs and PNGs from all the websites and keeps them around for a while in a cache, but after a while it throws most of that stuff away. So it's like the game will probably do something similar. But yeah, we might want to have some sort of manual thing where it's like if you're running low on space on your device, you can delete all this stuff. So we'll have to see how that works. It'll be a bit of a, like all this stuff. I'm sure there'll be like a learning period or a bit of a bumpy period. Yeah, that's kind of, what I was kind of thinking is with the new asset system, there's going to be different like flavors they're called. So basically different versions of the asset, like the one you download, because on PC it has to be like a certain format for your textures and things like that versus a different format for the mobile version. And right now modders have to like manually make those different versions of textures themselves, which is that sucks. But the asset system will kind of do that for you. So there'll be different like the PC version of this asset and the mobile version of this asset. So we can also maybe do things where like maybe the mobile version is like lower resolution by default, or maybe you can like flip a switch and get like the high res version if you have like a nice tablet or a fancy phone and you want to look a little better. And then maybe like the PC version will just be like higher resolution by default. So like there's different things that we can do there where it's like the asset sizes can be different based on like which version you're using or your quality settings or whatever. Because it is kind of nice to have the game still roughly 50 megs. It's nice and easy for people to download, and most people, yeah, like I'd I'd rather I'd rather it be 50 megs than like 300, because I think that would start to prohibit a lot of people from getting it. I know like Google and Apple, like they're starting to encourage you to make these, different types of apps which are like less than 10 megs and where people can basically, magically just like run them on their phone without even installing them. It's like app clips, I think it's called on Apple. Google has the same thing. I forgot what theirs is called, but it's interesting to see, would it be possible to go even further where it's like, could we get Bomb Squad down to like 10 megs and it would just include like the first level or something like that. And then it would just automatically download the rest as needed. So, and that would make it, people could just like click a link and just be like playing the game. So there's different ideas there, like what could be fun. Yeah. So yeah, I know. Yeah, Google and Apple both have that kind of tech. So it'd be interesting to see like what that would take, like app preview, exactly that kind of stuff. Instant apps. Yes, these all sound all these names sound right. I feel like I've read about all these, but I don't. I'd have to see like what they're called in all the different places. But yeah, I am curious. Like, would that actually be beneficial for the game? Because I'm sure something like that, it would take some time to figure out how to get that working. But like, if it would get a lot more people playing, like maybe it would be worth it. Who knows? But for now, I feel like 50 megs isn't too bad. So some apps support extensions via APKs, like buy a separate paid APK to unlock new features. Oh, that's yeah, stuff like that's interesting. But I feel like I am trying to avoid stuff like that because it's kind of platform specific. This would be, it would work that way on Android or maybe just on Google Play Android, but it would work a different way on PC or something. And so as time goes on, I'm trying to get the game mostly like behaving the same on across different platforms, just because that reduces the amount of time I have to spend like on specific platform things. I'd rather just be moving towards a world where the game is basically the same everywhere. You know, aside from being touchscreen on certain platforms and whatever. But get it as consistent as possible across different platforms. Because then I can spend my time on features that like everyone can benefit from, as opposed to spending my time on something that only this platform gets. Oh yeah, I was for a while actually. I don't know if any of you guys saw this, but Samsung installed Bomb Squad as a test on a lot of their phones in stores. I was in Poland with my girlfriend, and we were going through some tech store and saw like Bomb Squad on their Samsung phones. It was kind of cool. I don't know if they're still doing that. It's been a few years, but yeah, it was kiosk mode. So if you're looking through the source code, you'll probably see kiosk mode show up in a few places, and that's what that was. But yeah. But yeah, that's been kind of a fun part of getting it. You're getting noticed by some of these companies like Samsung or whatever. Is you get free phones like test phones out of it and stuff like that, or like test devices. So for me, it's like, oh yeah, I'll add support for this particular phone or something if you like send me one to test. So it's a good way to get free toys. Oh right, yeah. I need to think of some feature I could add like for foldable phones. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna need a one of your fanciest foldable phone for test purposes. Yes, because there was let's see there I added some features for Samsung. They had oh what is it called? There's the mode where you can run apps in like windowed mode, Dex, like Samsung Dex. So they sent me like the Dex device and like a Note 8 just to like get that working. So it was super cool. So I had DS mode. Yeah, I guess we could have like the bottom screen could just be like just your controls, and the top screen could be the view area. I don't know. That's a good question. How many smartphones do you have? Oh, I showed you earlier. Did you guys see? Here's my. I mean, like a pile of them. I don't know. This is. I got rid of quite a few recently when I moved. Um, because I had a bunch of like Android 4 devices, and the game doesn't. I'm not able to support Android 4 anymore because the Python I'm using requires Android 5. So that's why Android 5 is our minimum right now. But yeah, I used to have like a, just a bunch more old Android 4 phones and things that I've kind of built up over the last 12 years. Now I'm down to like a handful. I actually don't have any like super recent Android phones. I'm kind of slacking. I should maybe just like buy one. I still like most of my testing. I'm using this like Nexus. This is from like 2016 or something like that. So this is actually the newest one I have. Yeah, I think the newest one it is the one that Samsung sent me. So it's this Note 8, Note 9. It's the one right after the one that had the like catching on fire issues. So I think in Note 9 maybe. Um, but I still wind up using, so it's a little newer than the Nexus, but I still wind up using the Nexus more because it's like just default Android. So I feel like there's more, like on the Samsung one, I feel like there's more customizations, and it seems like there's more like weird like Android log stuff happening. So I kind of just want to use like more vanilla Android. Ooh, Bomb Squad. Haha. Cool. Where is that? But yeah, I should ask Google to send me a Pixel. I totally should. I need some new test hardware. Oh, Milan, awesome. Yeah, I had photos when I saw it in Poland, I took photos because I was proud papa. and yeah, kiosk mode. So, but yeah, I haven't done any like partnerships with any companies lately. I'm kind of been in like keep my head down mode, um, which is good and bad. It's like in a way it's fun doing those partnerships and stuff, but then they also they kind of take a bit of time too because they always want like, oh, make Bomb Squad work well on like this Dex unit, or make it support this particular thing on our phone to like because we want to show off this feature. And so it's like it's neat because you get free phones out of it and like the free publicity, but then it's also like it takes time also. So I feel like I've kind of avoided stuff like that lately. I just want to like keep working towards 2.0 and not have distractions. Like a big one was the VR version. Like Oculus reached out to me about doing a VR version of the game when they were first releasing originally the Gear VR, like the thing you could attach to your Samsung phone and use it as VR. So I wound up like porting the whole game to VR because of that, and it was super fun, and I really enjoyed it, but it also like it took months of my time, to get that going. So so in a way, it's like I don't want to do too much of that stuff, um, but it can be fun. But yeah, maybe after 2.0, maybe that would be a good time. That's a good point. Oh yeah, remember? Oh yeah, this is another good example. Duckster. There was a kind of a social network for gamers called Duckster, and yeah, the founder of that reached out to me and asked if I'd want to put Bomb Squad on it, and so I said sure. Oh yeah, this thing finally came up. My computer is being responsive again. Um, but yeah, that wound up like taking it. It was kind of neat. It didn't wind up succeeding, I don't think, but I got some cool publicity out of it. But it was also like it took me some time to like send them stuff and like with the integration and things like that. And so it's like things like that are neat, like the partnerships and stuff. But it's also like as an indie one person team sort of thing, it's like I have to think about that a little bit too in terms of that can take some time doing stuff like that. So I'm in stealth mode right now, I guess you could say. That's what they startups always call themselves, or say they're in stealth mode when they're just kind of laying low. Oh, really? There's something about Mel on there? I think they probably just, came up with some explanation. He's an ex chef and his mother used to beat him. Poor Mel. Well, that is not, I don't think that's canon. I mean, they must have made that up. I love how we're talking about, like, what is canonical history of Mel the chef. Yeah, I remember they sent me, like, descriptions, and I think they just kind of, like, got creative with it. But yeah, they must have just added that for Mel. That's awesome. We should see if we can find that. We should come up with like official histories. That's a whole other topic too. Is like stories and things like what do the characters have stories and you know I know my response on it is I remember reading someone asked the guys at Nintendo about like do or they were talking about their characters where they consider like Mario and Bowser and Princess and all that like they consider them almost like actors. Like they show up in different situations and completely different like stories, and they can have like they don't have like a single backstory. It's almost just like they're just like actors in these different productions. And so I kind of think of Bomb Squad the same way, where it's like they don't have like there's not a built-in story. It's like these are just kind of characters that they can be part of different stories. Oh no, getting very serious with Pascal here. Comes from oh but that would be fun to come up with. I don't know. That's part of the reason talking about like I want to make it like things like tournaments moddable. I want to make like people able to like make their own tournament mode you can enter where it'll put you against other people, or maybe they can make your own like campaign mode that you could enter, or like a story mode or something. Like people, it'd be fun to like enable people to come up with like stories for the characters, or some sort of like single player journey you could go on with the stories. Spaz is a lone wolf. Oh no. See, I wouldn't consider Spaz a lone wolf. I mean, I kind of made him, just to look like a soldier or something, just like someone who's kind of a standard. I mean, I guess he can be like unique, but I always pictured him as like part of a group or like a standard issue soldier or something like that. Mini Spaz. Now Mini Penguin is on the way. We got to get Mini Penguin first. Then we can worry about Mini Spaz. That would be super cool. Like a being able to do, like doing like a high end action figure or something like that. That could be on the list of maybe someday if the game gets big enough or something we can get something like that done. Yeah, me too. Like I would totally. I was talking to my girlfriend the other day, and as I mentioned to some of you, I'm getting some stuff like framed, like a lot of the things when I was working at Pixar, like different stuff from the Pixar movies. I'm finally getting some of that framed, so I can like hang it around my office here. Um, but I was saying like I need more game stuff. Like I don't actually have too much. I've been working on Bomb Squad for quite a while, but I don't have like posters for it or things like that that I can like hang up and show off to people. So like it'd be cool to have more stuff like that. So maybe if I could get like a collectible action figure, that'd be awesome. Just to put it on my shelf there next to Baby Yoda. Oh, cool. Yeah. Yeah, it'd be good to see like those old Duckster things just to see, like to read what they said again. I completely don't remember. All right, folks. Well, I should probably get wrapping up soon. We've actually gone over time. This is like I started at 9. It's been 2.5 hours. This is gonna be like the longest YouTube upload ever. Hey, did I see an M round count? Is there an M round count in here? What? Is that cousin Michael? There's a which round count? Identify yourself. So my mom's maiden name is Round Count, so my cousins are all Round Counts, and so there seems to be a Round Count in here. I'm trying to figure out which one. Are there actually? Are there other non-Michael M's? No, I think it's Michael. Oh yeah. Oh no. Don't tell cousin Matt. I just forgot. I completely whiffed on his name, or not whiffed, but I feel like cousin Matt wouldn't be in a Discord server though. Huckleberry. Cousin Michael here. He was there for the early days. So as I mentioned, I started this game as like a hobby. So for the early years, basically we just would play it at like family Thanksgivings. I need to find some like photos of that, but it's just like 10 cousins sitting on the couch playing the early version of Bomb Squad like after Thanksgiving dinner. So Michael here was there for all that. So need a reptile character. Cool. I we need a list of like characters people can like vote on. Like what you want to see or something. If someone wants to organize like a poll, all like Elon Musk style, we can get to the bottom of this. Crocodile. All right. Really leaning into the reptile stuff. It started with turtle. I was getting turtle requests. Then it turned into reptile. Now we're seeing crocodile. Slim Mel. Oh. Are you fat shaming Mel? That's not nice. Now, poor Mel has taken so much abuse. Like when everyone calls him fat pig and like all this stuff, I was like, oh man, he's just trying to cook tasty food for people. Skinny. Skinny's the new thing. Reptiles and skinny. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's the crazy laughter. It makes everyone just like hate Mel or something. Yeah. Oh, is did you originate the fat pig thing? Was that because yeah, it like spread. Everyone just calls him Fat Pig now. Oh yeah, yeah, shucks. Yeah, some of it is a little on the edge of just like, is this laughter? What is this? I forgot where I got that. I think I found some like just like insane laughter sounds on the internet somewhere, like one of the like free wave file sites. Like I didn't make those sounds myself. I have my limits. Ooh, another thing you're wondering what? All right, I'm waiting for this. All right, I'll answer this and then I'll wrap it up for the day. I need to get working on this account linking stuff. So many people out there are probably wondering why they can't link their account anymore and writing long hate mails about it. Where did you find Kronk's potato? Um, so originally, before I released the game, Kronk was like I used just sound effects from a famous action movie star. You can probably guess who. Um, and so basically, when I was trying to make everything fully legal so I could release the game, then I just re-recorded my own kind of vague impression of it, and I was just making like random noises. I just made like a string of long random noises, and then just cut it up into little bits and used those as like the sounds. And yeah, one of them like just sounds like potato, and everyone just decided he's saying potato, and yeah, it's become a thing. Any unedited sounds made by you? I mean, they're all well. I'm trying to think. Most of them are pitch shift. So like the characters that I did the sounds for, they're usually like, increased in, they're played back faster or something. I don't think any of them are just. Well, maybe so. I don't. I'd have to look through and try to remember. And it's been so long for some of them, I wouldn't remember in the first place. Wait, what? Back in. That is completely not true. That's funny. Someone said they made Mel. Yeah, no. Mel originated from kind of like, well, it's a long story, but it was kind of like an inside joke with me and friends. Um, but yeah, but that's oh man, it's funny people claim stuff like that, like oh yeah, I made the original Mel. Like no, you didn't. It's so weird that like yeah, I mean I guess there's people out there like that. They're just like make up stories, like full on just make up. But yeah, that's nobody unless that's my. I was gonna say I think maybe parts of Mel were made by my roommate Raph, the guy who's also in the credits, but I don't. That was like in the original version of the game, and I don't think any of that's still in there. And Raph wouldn't have said this anyway. He wouldn't have said like, "Oh, some random dude asked me to make a model of Mel." So, not that like Mel is like the pinnacle of fine art or anything like that, but it's still like that's kind of a bummer when someone's saying like, "Oh yeah, I made that." But I guess that sort of thing happens. I do want to like clean up B9000. I feel like he should look better. He's kind of like the priciest character, so that's another thing for maybe 1.8 when we're like doing asset cleanups and stuff. Like maybe make a slightly more pimped out, shiny, cool looking B9000. But anyway, side note. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna wrap up for the day. I love chatting, and I could stay here like all afternoon. But like I said, I need to get these server issues fixed. So, been fun, everyone. I'll get this uploaded on YouTube. I guess there's Not a ton of like cool demo-y stuff we did today, but mostly just conversation. But maybe people want to watch it. I won't judge. Change every spaz in the code to Mel. Yeah, we could have Mel be the default player. It's just chefs everywhere. So, been fun, everyone, and